How are we all? I hope you're well. I thought I'd record this. One, to support our captains, and as well as that, to make sure that every person knows exactly what they can expect at season 5 of Man v Fat Swansea. I bet it's a different voice, and I bet it sounds a bit different, obscure. I'm not sure what the words are. But yeah, for everyone else, yeah, this is your new coach, Howell, the fish. If you want to know why, ask the lads. I bet they've all got different stories for it, but I let the stories prevail more than anything. Yeah, so as I said, the reason that I'm going to be doing this video now is just to go through everything, make sure that everyone knows exactly what they can expect and what is required of you, really, when it comes to our season at Man v Fat. We're in unprecedented times right now. We are the only league in the UK that has 10 teams in a single league. Normally, what they do is after 8, you would then split to a 6 and a 4, and you'd play it as that. We've been working extremely hard to maintain this, and the intention, of course, is next season to expand to 12, which then would be the point where we'd have to split to 2 separate leagues. So I really, really want us all to harness and cherish what we've got for this season, because realistically, next season it could look a lot different. So let's get started. So we've got now, this is the staff setup that we've got right now. Okay, so we've got myself as the coach. Of course, Ben is still going to be in the background supporting us in his capacity, but on a capacity where you'd communicate with, these are the guys that we'd be looking at. Okay, so then myself as a coach, play facilitator and 11s coordinator, Shahi. He does a lot more than that, but let's face it, we're going to give him the titles that have been provisioned already. 2 brand new PFs which have started recently, which is Kyle Lewis and Craig Chislett. They will have additional titles onto this when they've then formulated their role to what they see that they'd like to undertake. There's no pressure, there's no stress on that, guys, but realistically, as soon as we see where we're going with this and how we're going to do it, of course we can implement that as we go forward. And the 11's panel representative we have is Joe Gia. His job here realistically is when there are any discussions, discrepancies, any questions that need representing in respects of both teams of Swansea, of Copper and Goir, he's the man. He'll be the one who will be defending our discussions, our decisions, our way in that way, and I think that's something which we've got the perfect man for the job right there. So yeah, those are the guys. If there's any questions, of course, please feel free to send me a message. Naturally, I work during the day. I got a young family, and of course, there's other bits and pieces there. But I promise you that I will get back to you with a response at some point close to the point that you send the message. And if there's something I'm not sure about, I will respond to you and tell you straight that I don't know, but I will find out for you. I'm very sure all PFs will do exactly the same. Okay, so the rules. These are the things that I think are really important. I've taken these screenshots from the Man v Fat rule book in PDF form, and I've put them in here, and I think it's really important for you to see this. So first point is you need to weigh in before you can play. Right, that is really important here, guys. If you turn up and you go straight to the pitch, effectively, that there it nullifies the game realistically. Right, what we need to ensure is that every person who's going to go onto that pitch has ensured that they've weighed. we can't weigh you afterwards. That's a no-no. But then this is the way that it works. So if 1 or 2 players lose weight, you'll get a goal for your team. 3 or 4, 2 goals. 5 or 6, 3 goals. 7 or 8, and then it goes up to 4 goals. And then if over 9 players lose weight for your team, that's an extra 5 goals even before you get onto the pitch. Now that there is a massive advantage as it goes along. Okay, you've got your hat tricks and your milestones. So the way the hat tricks work is when you lose weight, and it's not consecutively, but when you lose weight 3 times, you are awarded a goal as a hat trick. Okay, so it doesn't have to be 3 weeks in a row. It's 3 weeks, and then you're awarded a goal. You will see on your emails that you receive after the weigh-in how far away you are from a hat trick. The milestones work at 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, up to, I think I've got cards going up to about 60% of body weight loss. They work at a point where when you reach a particular milestone, it shows up on my system then when I refresh it, and that then automatically issues an extra 3 goals onto the score for that game that you're going to be playing that week. That's a massive, massive advantage to your team then, of course. So then hitting those milestones are something that we seriously celebrate as we go along. Tracking. So if you're not sure what we mean by tracking, it's where you log the food that you're eating throughout the week. So you track the food, you become accountable of what you're doing. The benefits to that, I'll be speaking on this for a lot longer than I anticipate if I go through that. But then realistically, being accountable for what you're eating, being able to reflect on where you are. If you happen to have a week where you put weight on, you can look back at that tracking and go, right, okay, what was different on that week? And at the same point, if you lose weight, you can see, right, what am I doing which is working? And I think it's really important to do that. I'm a stickler for tracking. I love MyFitnessPal. That is the one that I use, but there are many more out there, right? So please don't feel that I'm advocating one. There are loads out there, and a lot of guys are using different ones. A lot of guys don't want to use an app. They want to use like notes, and they want to put in their notes what they've been eating, and that's still equally as strong there because you're just being accountable for what you're doing, and that's what the main cause of it is and the main goal of tracking. So as you can see here, then we've got 1 to 3 players tracking, you get an extra goal. 4 or 6, 2 goals, and then 7 plus is 3 goals. You won't earn any more than that. Okay, but then 3 goals for tracking. If 9 of you lose weight, that's 5 goals there. Plus, if you have any hat tricks or milestones, you could easily get that number into double figures before you even get on the pitch. It's a big one, I tell you. I've noted here right now on the bottom of the page, so if you are over 27.5 BMI, pretty much you have the same goal bonuses, you lose weight, you do your tracking, you do this, that, the other. 25 to 27 then, it's pretty much the same thing. Yeah, it's actual fact, it's copy pasted, it's exactly the same. So then you work the same way. So when you get to that 27.5, etc., 25, you're in that point where you're earning goals as you go along. Now this is the one here. So then if you go under 25 BMI, right, and I'll easily read this out because there's no easier way to say it, right? A BMI within this range is considered healthy. We would no longer encourage a player to lose weight. The player no longer is awarded a 3-goal bonus to achieve a 5% or 10%. You're at the BMI boss area there, right? And a player will receive a scale score of 1 goal every week they remain within a healthy BMI. So then this year, guys, when you reach your BMI and you stay in that, you're adding a goal each time. So then you're actually earning more goals by being in BMI than you are if you're looking at the weekly team bonuses there, which is absolutely fantastic, right? And you've got to look at that. A player will also be able to continue scoring hat tricks for the remaining within a healthy BMI for 3 weeks. So if you hit the BMI 3 weeks, not consecutively, as you go along, you will then earn hat tricks. Okay, we also know that that's an extra goal. So then that could be on that week that you get the hat trick, and you're still in the BMI. That's 2 goals you're earning for your team. So there's a couple of rules for the pitch. right? And this is something that we need to identify here, right? I've put on the left-hand side of the screen, you can see that this is where, realistically, if you've got low attendance, this is where we look at it, right? So we're a seven-a-side league, so then you can't have any less than 5 players on your team. If you do, it's effectively a forfeit, right? So then it's only option one that you can use for the forfeiting matches. So you choose to accept a 5-0 forfeit, but you can still play the game as a friendly with people that you want to have on your team. Okay. If you have 6 players, you can actually choose to play with fewer players. Now, the other team don't have to. They can carry on with their 7. And they can carry on the rolling subs, etc. But realistically, you can choose to play with fewer players, but has to be 5 and above. Anything less, you forfeit. And in that point there, when you have 5 and above, you've got the chance to borrow players. Okay, but it costs you 2 goals for every player that you borrow. So then, if you've got 5, you need to get up to 7. That's a 4-goal deficit before you start there. Each game is 28 minutes, 14-minute halves, and on the 7-minute mark, we do stop for subs. So then, as your journey goes along and your fitness gets better, you may not need those subs, but the facility is there anyway. And especially if you've got a full squad, you want to rotate as much as you can, so at least then everybody gets a piece of the pie. As going to the subs, of course, it is rolling subs. That's really important for you to know, right? It's rolling subs. So then if you do come off, you have got the opportunity to come back on. And then, of course, what you need, right? So then you need a jersey with a hood, ideally. That's health and safety wise. Somebody can't pull the hood, you can't get hurt there. Shorts or tracksuit trousers, right? I'm not expecting you coming in playing in jeans. That's ridiculous, to be completely honest with you. And if anybody did, it's not appropriate. But at the same point, why are you using perfectly good jeans when you could use a pair of shorts? Socks. The reason for the socks, obviously, is to keep the shin pads in place. Okay, and the shin guards, the shin pads, they are a requirement, right? When we've had visits from head office representatives and they've noticed people aren't wearing shin pads, they do report to us and they say that it is a concern. We need that to happen. Footwear. This is down to the health and safety of the venue, of course. They're using 3G, 4G pitches, and there are requirements of what footwear you can use on that. So then, metal studs are not permitted. Normal trainers are not permitted, really. Astros or molds, artificial ground boots, firm ground football boots, they are fine. Okay, and if you need any more information on that, please send me a message. I'm happy to go through and send you a couple of screenshots of some boots. I'm not the connoisseur when it comes to boots. You're probably going to look at them and think to yourself, what are these? But at the same point, you can go for there. As it says, spectacles are worn at the owner's risk. Okay, we have some members who wear the goggles. And in all honesty, they've already mentioned how successful they are. We've had people wearing glasses and then they've fallen off, and somebody's inadvertently stepped on them, and then they've got 2 halves of a pair of glasses there, which obviously they'll have to sort out then themselves. So we are saying now that if you need to wear glasses, it is recommended for you to look at possibly getting contact lenses or sports goggles just for that point. There'll be a referee at the game. That referee then has obviously have the overarching power on the pitch, where they will identify then what it is. We must respect the referee's decision. Okay, these points are we got to do it. If we start arguing that's not the point, right? Without the ref, there is no game, and we have to make sure that we respect that. The referee is issued with blue and red cards. The blue card is a temporary timeout card. Okay, that means that if the blue card is shown, you go off for 2 minutes and you can come back on. The red card, as you're aware, is that you're off completely. Okay, and another thing I need to point out here that all free kicks in Man v Fat football are indirect, except for penalties that are direct. Okay, that means you cannot take the strike straight away. You need to pass it before a strike is taken. I'm very sure somebody's going to come and correct me with exactly the definition of indirect, but that's as far as I'm aware. In respect to the pitch, guys, we need to tighten up on the timings of the pitch, especially with next season possibly going up to 12. We need to tighten this up completely. So what we've decided here, guys, is I would really appreciate it if you leave your property upstairs where you weigh in. It is manned. There's people there all the time. I'm there. However, I will also say that it's at your own risk that you leave things, okay? Because obviously I've got a job to do. Other people have got jobs to do. Although it is manned, please ensure that your valuables are kept safe. This will alleviate people then stopping and going back to their bags and having a chat on the pitch, and then all of a sudden we've got 5 minutes taken off the next game, or 5 minutes in a delay of the next game, and then all of a sudden by the last game it's 20 minutes plus before it's even kicking off. That can't happen. If it does happen, guys, we're going to be in a position where either we're going to have to ask the referee for their discretion on who's wasting time, and then points will be deducted from that team, or the other option is that we'd have to deduct time from all the games to facilitate our time frame. That's not what anybody wants. We want you to have the full experience. So what I'm asking you right now, if you could leave your property upstairs, get on and off the pitch as soon as possible, and realistically just be mindful that there are other games going on. So then those conversations can happen either after the game that's coming on, or obviously when you come off the pitch you can have those chats then with people who've just played afterwards. I think I've covered everything on that slide. So we'll go on to this now then, right? So there are, on the rule book, there are disciplinary procedures going on. I've never seen these being implemented, but at the same point, if I didn't tell you about them, I wouldn't be doing my job. So as you can see there, that if you receive a second blue card in the same match, it's a 1 match suspension and it's a £10 fine. Now obviously this is something which is set in the system, and obviously if a blue card is shown, the referee will inform me and then I need to log that. Okay, denying a goal or an obvious goal scoring opportunity, that there, again, discretion of the ref. Using offensive, insulting, abusive gestures is a 2 match suspension, 15 fine, pound fine of course. Attempting to kick or strike another player, serious foul play, same sanction as the offensive or insulting gestures, and violent conduct, then that is then 3 match suspension, £30 fine. If you want to know more about the rules, it's 42 pages. They've put the website address there for you, so it's manvfat.com/manvfat football rules on site. There is a downloadable PDF that you can use, and if you wanted to read through yourself, but obviously that is there for you. And I've just given an identifier there, so it's still 28 minutes, it's rolling subs, and the referee has blue and red cards to issue if needed. However, we've been really successful in Swansea where those things have not needed to be implemented. Okay, so as we go along with this, you can see that this is the screen that you're going to be having in the roundups, the post-event kind of report that I will be dishing out to you then as soon as possible after the game. So it's probably going to be Wednesday evening, in all honesty with you, but I'll do my best to get it out beforehand. So you get there's awards for best attendance. On that, guys, I will say there are some teams with 12 players, some teams with 11. So what I've thought that the best way to do this, and fortunately the leaders or the captains have agreed and said that this is the fairest way to do it, is say for instance now that all 12 attend. What I'll do then is I will look at the most insignificant change in weight. and I'll always promise to positively promote. So what I mean by that is, say for instance now 12 people turn up, and then one person out of that 12 maintains. Well, that would be the first one that I discard. If 12 people turn up and the more insignificant weight is a 0.1 kilo gain, I'll discard that. And I discard that. If we have a situation where 12 turn up, there's a 1 kilo gain, a 1 kilo loss, I will always look at getting rid of that, discarding that gain, because I want to celebrate the weight loss. Okay? And I just want you to realise that as it is. And I'm explaining it, but I don't think you're going to actually notice it when it comes to your tracking or your data at all, to be honest with you. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. For the attendance, guys, I will issue 2 goals for the team with the best attendance. If it's shared, I will share a goal between. Okay, and if it's shared between 3, 4, 5 of you, it'll be a goal each for each of you. Okay, the biggest loss, the team with the biggest loss, then I'll do the same point there. So then they'll be issued a goal. The highest tracking, then I will do the same. So it's 2 goals for the team with the highest tracking. If it's shared, it's 1 goal each if shared. Okay. And then of course you've got then the amount of people that attended, how many pitch goals, the scales goals, and the season leader. So then that then is the data that's shown with the person who's the most consistent loss and the highest loss and everything else there. They then will be issued that point there. Okay. Right. And then, of course, you'll see then that on the data, you'll see that there's how much each team has lost in total, how much the club has lost, the total club loss since the season has begun, and then the biggest losers. Now, obviously, the colours will change with the names in respect to the colour to the teams that you play for. And, of course, any person who's hit the milestone in those weeks will be issued in the clubs respecting their milestone. Going forward then, I will show you a rundown from each game and how the scores have been equated and how they work out, etc. And you'll see that there, and you can identify then how and what has happened. What you will notice throughout this is that the pitch will probably not count as much as what the scales do, or the tracking, or any bonus goals, because obviously this is a weight loss league with football as this little prize at the end. Okay, and then the team of the week, this will show then the biggest losers in each team. Okay, so the biggest weight loss losers in each team will be featured at this slide here. We are introducing the Rumble again. So then I've put X in there because I've just inducted a couple more players into our ranks, and frankly I need to work out exactly how many we've got before I can put the numbers in there. But then we will have a Royal Rumble. Now, last season we had a Royal Rumble which gave you an extra life. That is being scrapped this season. Okay, we're going completely gung-ho on this one. To accommodate that, what we're doing instead is that we're going to give an extra goal for each teammate that's still in the Rumble each week. Okay, so then if you have 10 people still in the Rumble, that's an extra 10 goals for your team. If then the next week you have 3 people who have lost weight, who have gained weight, they're out then, which will take it down to 7 people still in the Rumble, which then means that you'll have 7 goals. And it'll work out that way as you go along. And I think it's really important that we do this because, again, I am here to promote the weight loss. Okay? And that's something that I'm going to be continuing to do. At the end of the Rumble, where there's the last men standing, however it works there, so this will happen at week 14, I will issue 7 goals to those respective people. Okay? If it turns out then you've got, in your team then, you've got 3 people still in the Rumble right at the end, that is worth celebrating. And I think it's worth celebrating with 21 goals. I think it is. I really do think it is, and I'm going to stand by that. I think some of you may think to yourself, what? No way! But I am going to stick with that because I genuinely feel if they've gone 14 weeks without having any form of gain, they need to be celebrated. 100%. Okay, fixtures. That's been an interesting one this season, isn't it? You have to excuse me, guys. It's my first time doing this, and it's been a massive challenge. PFs, Ben, Dan Griff, Carl, you've been absolutely amazing in helping me out with this after I've tried to muddle through it solo in a very fractious time, to be honest with you. Fractious and celebratory time, especially with with the time of year we're in. But the fixtures are up here for the first 4 weeks. The first 9 weeks have been set. They're all out. They're all online, and I will post one of these graphics for the following week every Wednesday. So you can see then who you're playing next week, what times you need to arrive, etc. Now, bear in mind with the arrival times were set because we used to be downstairs and everybody would be queuing along the corridor. It wasn't nice. It wasn't very comfortable. It wasn't great. Now we're upstairs. If you do arrive early and you want to weigh in because you want to watch the matches and all that kind of stuff, please feel free. But obviously, if you see that there's, like, for instance, match day one now, we've got whites and pinks. If you see that there are white players, pink players in the queue behind you, give them precedent. Let them go ahead of you. Make sure that they can weigh in before their game. And then if you can see there's a gap and everybody else has weighed in and all that, please feel free to jump on, get your score, get that going, and then you can see out the night and enjoy knowing that you've already weighed in. But then that's how that will work. Okay, right. Moving forward. Okay, so the further development point here. Now, this is something that we really, really like to see happening at Man v Fat in Swansea. Okay, so then we've got an events team. There are representatives of the events team on from each team. Really want to push that. We've had numerous events going on beforehand. We've had a Pen y Fan walk. We've had socials. The socials are very good. I'll say, considering that I don't drink much, I've thoroughly enjoyed the socials. We've done different events like Espresso Yourself. So Espresso Yourself is it's something that I really want to bring back, and it's something that's come from Newport's league. Gavin there, he's done a fantastic job championing that, and it's a way of having a avenue of discussion, communication with somebody whilst having a coffee and a walk. It's not anything strenuous. It's not fitness related. It's mental health related. It's a way for people to be able to reach out in a convenient way. People don't want to send a message going, I need help. People don't want to be in a position where they are accosted because they seem a bit down sometimes. Mind you, some people want that. Some people want that reach out. But at the same point, the Express Yourself walks really give people an opportunity to just talk about anything. I'm quite tempted to try and push these for, like, as the nights get longer, possibly doing like a Wednesday evening as a reflection of the night before, or possibly, because sometimes the weekend doesn't work. Doesn't have to happen on a weekly basis. It's never happened on a weekly basis. It's been more of a monthly, or even if it's a bi-monthly, or if it's a point that we just want to take this idea and formulate it into something your own with a support group. Either way, that's totally up to you. But then we are going to try and champion these and push these as an event going forward. Yeah, nothing more to say about that. Any other events? Any other ideas? Any points? Please don't keep them to yourself. Share them. Get them out there. I really want to make this not only just about football and weight loss. It needs to be the whole holistic thing of making sure that we can support and build a community out of this. Media. So then the media team, we've had different kind of media team expositions going on here. We've had Dan Hunt, who's recently left us to to join Bridgend because of his own personal reasons, and I don't blame him. You know, he's travelling miles. But then he'd be filming games. Andrew has helped out with that as well, and has championed his own style of filming games. And obviously, all these different things need support, even if it's graphics, if it's website implementation, if it's building biographies. Dave Reese, we've had um, doing biographies of players and posting them out as a blog. They were lush. They're absolutely lush, and these are things that we could really get back into it. So if you're interested in working in like a media team or something of that sort, please reach out. It'd be really great to see what we can build on that. And of course, the leadership. So the leadership group is the captains, the vice captains. If and when there's possibilities of player facilitators, um, promotions coming on, this is what I'm talking about. So then, if you really want to hone your skills, get those skills that maybe you don't practice as much out in your daily life, please let your team know, let your captains know. Some of the captains, vice captains may be doing it because nobody else wants to do it. And having that format where somebody can say, you know what, I really fancy giving this a go, you'd be probably doing them a massive favour. But that then entails its own little role there, where you've got post game write ups to do, communication, those little bits and pieces. So then, and just being there for your team, reaching out, making sure that there's anything else that you need, they need. I think I've done everything on that slide. Any questions, please let me know. And yeah, these are my final words more than anything. It's always good to set a target. You set a target, guys, you know where you need to be. I'm not going to speak about my journey as much, but then I set a target that I wanted to reach a particular place. I got 75% of the way there. And I'm now doing the final 25% that I want to at another league, because I am now got the massive pleasure and honour of being your coach. I set myself a target. I enjoyed the process. You can see, that the process being claws are feeling looser on you. You can see that you feel a bit more energy. You feel this bits and pieces going on, and you think to yourself, you know what? I'm actually changing my habits now, not just doing it because I want to fit into a pair of jeans. I'm changing my habits. I had a buffet last night for New Year's Eve, and I ate considerably less than I would have last New Year's Eve. That there is a process. That is a change in habit, which is something that I genuinely felt, you know what? I've done this. I feel like I've changed my mindset on what was making me the person I didn't want to be. And of course, take each week at a time. There's going to be weeks where you gain. There's going to be weeks where you maintain. The maintaining, guys, I will say right now, is I'm trying to work out a way of doing it, but I want to award maintain. I want to really award that, because that is something that being able to maintain a weight is equally as skillful as constantly losing. I want to be able to try and award that, and I'm trying to work out a way of doing a weekly award for it, but realistically, I've got something in my mind for later on in the season. Bear with that, okay? It's important for you to make sure that you make sure that you are doing the right things, okay? Sustainability is really important. By taking each week at a time and making sure that you just you're just chipping away at things like this, you will get it. If you do something drastic, the old wives' tale is true. The quicker it comes on, the quicker it comes off, the quicker it'll go back on. Do it sustainable. Make sure that you get the you build on the knowledge of how you're doing it, and make sure that it's sustainable for you. Don't go gung-ho crazy on this. Just chip away at it bit by bit by bit by bit. And that's the really important thing here now, guys, okay? So make sure you set the target, you enjoy the whole process, and you take each week at a time. I'm going to stop talking because I've probably been talking for a lot longer than I anticipated. It's going to be my honour to represent you as a coach. It's going to be my honour to be there each week, living these journeys with you. And I just want you to know that anything that you need, I will do everything I can to facilitate it. Thank you, guys. I'll speak to you on Tuesday.